Today I want to talk about a painful topic. It's the first episode of a few episodes about Jessica, the decade and a half before Jessica transitioned. What was it like? Why Jessica had no choice? And what was it like? Feelings when I was trapped in the wrong body, in the wrong gender, to when I actually transitioned. I'm doing this because I want people to understand that they could do it too. So many people find themselves in all sorts of struggles and situations. I'm here to tell my story, how I took myself out of it. Before I start, I want to give a shout out to my it's 4 in total, awesome subscribers, Liz, Karen, and Samuel. Your input, your ideas have really helped me. And your feedback has really given me a chance to hear how my message is resonating with people. If you have feedback, please put in the comments down below or text me on Facebook, just MADN, on Facebook it's Jessica, it's just Madden. On Instagram, it's just MADN, and you can comment over here down below as well. I want to expand and grow and develop and put out content which resonates with people. Another message before I start, I want to make myself as clear as I possibly can. The living hell I lived in was my fault. I put myself in it and I took myself out of it. I am the only one responsible for the consequences. Number 7, actually I won't number it, but I'll point out as well, quite a few people left my life in the past few months and years. And I'm putting this out there as well so you can understand how you put yourself out there, how you validate yourself on your journey, and why you have to let certain things go. And I mentioned this on Facebook and on Instagram, and that is that when you let go of your ego, it's unbelievable how successful you could be and how you heal yourself from within. So in the past few months, in the past few years, friends and family have left me. I'm extremely grateful for this because the universe was serving me. It had to happen in order for me to reach my current level of maturity and awareness. It's all nice to get validation from people, but what good is it if you don't actually love and validate yourself? Lots of those people in my past will never be able to connect with me again or relate to me on any level ever again. That's why their exodus is for the good and is the best thing that ever happened to me. Remember, if you have an opposing energy with somebody else, you cannot reconcile. It's not possible. And I'm also putting this out here because there's no reconciliation between Jessica and the old self who I was prior to transition. So I'm a different person in many ways. I'm the same person, I'm the same energy, but I'm a different person in many ways, and I don't connect with my old self. In many ways, I don't connect with my old self. As for victimhood, of course I understand that my approach doesn't resonate with everyone. That's okay. Not everyone reaches this point of liberation, and not everyone has this kind of strength. I found it to be extremely liberating, extremely liberating when I went and I let go of my ego. I said, the people of my past, they had their cheshbonis, they had their calculations, their considerations. I had mine with different entities, and that's okay. I take responsibility for every part of my life. That doesn't mean that I'll be compensating people in my past. It just means that I don't feel any animosity towards anyone anymore. Next point. Now that we got this out of the way, allow me to elaborate on literally what it felt like. I know I'm going to tear up a bit, but that's part of this journey. What did it feel like being in that closet? Unable to express myself, to be who I am. It's 5 years since I've started liberating myself. And it's been a powerful journey, which lots of people don't get to do in a lifetime. What was it like? It's painful. I'm doing it for self-healing and to help others on the way as well. I'm going to start off discussing my journey from roughly about 20 years old. Again, this is about a decade and a half. It's a story of about a decade and a half. I'm starting it at age 20. I'll get back to my earlier memories in a future episode. I took myself through my teenage years. Sorry, it's not the teenage years, it's the over 20, where I'm starting from. But it was also my teenage years, actually. It was for the first 30 plus 35 years of my life. I took myself through those years by juggling between prayer and study. So I am gonna get back to age 20 when I'm putting this episode in. At age 20, my prayer and study intensified. Studying like crazy. There were times I reached breaking point and I just take myself to watch a movie at the movie theater. But those were far and few in between. Sometimes secular music would be another means of escape, or taking myself off to the local secular ancient bookshop. So I really tried to take the religious bend, the religious element of life, but at times I did take myself off to ancient secular bookshops, or rather old bookshops, antique bookshops, or the cinema, the movie theater. Now, let me give you a description of what it was like when I was intensely religious, very devout. And I must put this out there. I enjoyed those times. There's no doubt about it. Those were like honey in many ways. Because I took every fiber of my being to survive. And I did it. But obviously it didn't last. It wasn't supposed to last because I wasn't being in tune with myself. But I must put this out there. People should know that it wasn't like I had some kind of masber, as they say in Hebrew, some kind of breakdown. No, it was not a breakdown. It was a ways and means of getting, which lots of teenagers in lots of different communities go through. They go through times of a bit rebellion, trying, if you're a religious community, you become a bit secular at times, and even in the early 20s, children, teenagers, adolescents do this kind of thing, which is what I did. But for me, it was also about emboldening my gender identity, allowing my gender identity to be in folds for the people around me. I would take myself to the study hall at 2 p.m. I would start off my evening roughly about 8:30, and I would start my studies like in a room next to the synagogue where a few people would congregate near the synagogue. And then I would take myself to the study hall. I would take myself there at roughly about 9:30. So for about an hour or so, I spent in the small room, and then I went to the large room. And I would engross in my studies. I would generally do an evening of about 6 hours of studying Torah. And I loved it. It was a lot of fun because it was about using your mind in many different ways, which was powerful and really helped me a lot. That doesn't mean that that it took care of all my problems, but I'm just giving you an illustration. Now, I remember the following story. I was the only one in the study hall on the festival of Sukkot. And my uncle arrived from overseas. He had been looking for me. And he found me in the study hall, the only one among 600 empty seats. Because it was Sukkot and people were celebrating the festival. I was poring over the books. And I was poring over mainly Talmud and Musar, which is all about self-improvement and Talmud which is all about, the tractates of Talmud are all about allowing your mind to figure out the deep texts, and analyzing those texts was about being analytical, etc. So that's what happened. I remember he came to the study hall. I was the only one among 600 chairs and lots of tables. Now, I really tried to embolden and rekindle my role as a male in the community and my religious spark. It was far from easy, and at times all that was left was hope for God's wrath not to consume me as I had been told to anticipate. I remember ever so vividly standing in a corner of the synagogue, begging God to just forgive me for once again cross-dressing, and for once again allowing my gender identity to be. For once again falling short on my promise to him not to do it again. I remember it like today. Those memories evoke in me this kind of memory, like a really vivid kind of memory. Now, I don't know if I've ever spoken about this, and that is when you have a bad memory or a painful memory, what you're supposed to do is take it out of the memory bank. And this I heard from Aaron Doherty. So take it out of the memory bank. At first, look at it in a scary way and in a painful way. Then reshape that memory, put like a cartoon to it, or make it not as serious as it was. So I'm going to do that today. I'm going to actually say, yes, I stood in that synagogue begging God because I had some kind of funny image of a God who believed in delivering a wrath. God doesn't deliver wraths. God is all about good and helping people grow. And the universe helps you grow. It doesn't help you doom yourself. So I'm going to put that back. I've taken it out of my memory bank, putting it back in now. Now I want to carry on, and this is all roughly about the first 2 years of my 20s. I'll never forget Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. It would be a sacred time for me and for the people around me. But I used to revere and attribute God's presence to my feeling lofty, holy, and elevating myself to spiritual heights. I remember in an evocative way how I used to feel when Yom Kippur was over. I had to literally go back downstairs to eat again. I remember. I loved Yom Kippur. I love the Day of Atonement, and I love that peak of the Ne'ilah service when I reached the peak of holiness and spirituality and connection with God. Tears come to my eyes. I'll never forget how awesome and amazing that felt. And when it was over, I used to really struggle. I felt like I had to go back down to the earth and be put through those trials and tribulations once again. I used to beg God, please stretch Yom Kippur just that bit longer. I hadn't eaten for 24 hours. Nonetheless, I would stand in the synagogue after the evening prayer was over, and I would just stretch it and stretch every single word so I don't have to go downstairs to go to eat. I just wanted to keep that loftiness. It's painful because I'm that kind of person. I'm a person who enjoys a good time, enjoys a spiritual uplifting point, and it's painful when I have to go back down to earth, because we have to live on this planet Earth. That's what we got to do. I used to beg God to please stretch Yom Kippur a little bit longer. I used to feel God's omnipotence. I even felt a sort of a lividity at times. I felt like I left my body, and then I liberated myself from the struggles. And I literally used to feel like I was in God's palm. That's the first of many episodes to come. A bit of an illustration of what it was like for me in those early 20s. That's my message today. I once again want to put out this message, and that is that if you are dealing with a difficult situation, with difficult people in your life, remember, there's no point in banging energies with people. Certain energies don't go together. I had a very interesting story yesterday. I went to speak to somebody. And she came out of the room and she says to me, Jessica, you were rude to me. Now, she said, you were rude to me, but I'm going to speak to you in a couple minutes and I got to go. Now, I don't remember being rude to her at all. But the way I translated it was that our energies clashed. And that happens sometimes. If your energy clashes with somebody, let it go. Let go of your ego. And I put this out there on Facebook and Instagram today as well. I'm Jess Madden on Facebook, and on Instagram it's just MADN. I said, let it go. Let your ego go and smile. I don't recall, in this particular story, I don't remember being rude to the woman, but our energies didn't match and she automatically translated energies, which is okay. That's what happens sometimes. Don't clash with it. Don't fight it. Let your ego go. That's my message today. First of many more to come. If you want to see these videos right away, ASAP, when they come out, it's a good idea to press that subscribe button. Awesome stuff. Remember, the 100 subscriber will be getting a free gift to be shipped off anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world. And if you have any comments, please put them down below. Send them on Facebook or Instagram as well. And if you like a video I put out there, or you really love it and it resonates with you, please press that like or resonate or heart button. Awesome stuff, but painful. Next week will be episode 2. Have a nice weekend.